Hey, what's up you guys? Century Productions here, and today I'm very excited to bring you my review on the DC Comics, DC Collectibles, Super-Villians, Crime Syndicate, Owlman action figure. So here we got Owlman in the package. I've actually already opened him. I'm sorry, I couldn't wait. He just looks like such a badass figure. This is actually the first one I got, and this was at the time the only one I really wanted. Until I figured, I might as well get the whole set. But this is my favorite one out of the entire Crime Syndicate as far as the DC collectible figures go. I don't know, there's just something about it. I think I really like the character. I like how it's painted. I like the sculpt. It seems like it utilizes the same sculpt as the Ultraman, and that head sculpt is just on a different level. But let's take a closer look at the package. So, of course, we got DC Comics Super-Villians at the top. We've got the Crime Syndicate at the top. We got Owlman in package. Doesn't look like he comes with any accessories. Once again, there's certain figures that they just don't really need to have certain selling points for. And it's like an Owlman or an Ultraman, the ones that mimic Superman and Batman. Most likely they're not going to need to put a little extra something in there for us. But we can see there's a side profile of Owlman on the side, sculpted by Gentle Giant, which is always a plus. And he stands about 6.75 inches tall. It's going to be a little bit taller than your normal 6-inch figures. Got a really nice profile pic of Owlman right there. Little bio about the Crime Syndicate themselves, and there's the rest of them right there. Can't wait to get all of these guys next to each other. And then, of course, on this side, we've got a silhouette of Owlman, and of course, like I've been saying, if you get the rest of your packages together, you can line up all the silhouettes and have a pretty kick-ass display, which is going to be cool. Alright, let's open this thing. I'm really excited. Let's do it. Alright guys, so I got Owlman out of the package, and of course I had to compare him next to the DC Universe Classics Crime Syndicate 5-pack Owlman right here. And, I mean, this one, in my opinion, is just leaps and bounds better than this one. Very different costumes, though. Different shades of black or gray or whatever you would like to say. Just very different figures. So, obviously, the DC Collectibles one stands a little bit taller than the DC Universe Classics one. I actually do like the DC Collectibles or the New 52 costume a little bit more than this one, but both really good figures. I will be reviewing this figure at a later date. But for right now, I want to focus on this DC Collectibles figure. Alright, so I wanted to start out with the paint. The paint on this figure, I mean, there's not really too much going on with the paint, but as far as quality control issues, there are a couple things. We can see that the paint's dripping onto the boots, like I said the other day. Looks like the boots and the pants are going to war as far as the paint goes. And his legs, I don't know, his legs seem a little bow-legged, but as far as the paint goes, it looks like we just got this gray going throughout the figure. I don't see any shading. I don't see any other colors thrown in for definition or anything like that. And like I said, there's next to no quality control issues. Everything's painted on there perfectly. I mean, we can see the insignia on the front. Doesn't have any paint scuffs or anything like that. Even the one that's on the belt. And we know that these ones on the belt probably are a little bit harder to paint. So I think it looks really good. I mean, there may be some tiny things like right there, but I mean, it's like I said, you have to be looking for it. This head sculpt is what's really cool, man. The minute I saw this head sculpt, I just fell in love with it. The range of motion on it is just really nice. Even on the back, this is like a kind of a bendable plastic, so you can kind of manipulate it when you're rotating the head and everything, so you can get it in certain poses. I think that's really kick-ass. I love how they added some paint to the skin tone on the face. It looks like there's some definition in there as far as like the skin tone goes. I don't know what kind of paint they used for it, but it looks like the lips are painted, and there's some definition on the side of the cheeks and everything. They painted the eyes or the goggles beautifully, did such a good job. And it looks like we've got this like carbon black on the top of the head, and then we've got this glossy black that's lining it, which looks really good. I really do like that. And it looks really cool from the side. I mean, I just love how this figure's sculpted, and the paint really adds to this head right here. This is one of the cooler head sculpts I've seen out of DC Collectibles. And as far as the glossy black paint goes, it looks like that is followed on his hands right here for his little gauntlets or whatever you would call those. So that's followed on the gloves for the hands. He does have 2 solid fists, by the way. It looks they included that glossy paint on these little pellets on his belt, which is a really nice touch because you got this. It's easy on the eyes, really easy on the eyes. He's got this carbon black belt and then these glossy pellets right there. And then, of course, the boots are glossy too, which is really nice. And then the rest of the figure seems to be a carbon black or that plain gray. But painted beautifully, sculpted, even better than the paint. It's just an awesome figure. As far as articulation goes, guys, he's got really nice range of motion on everything. I don't believe I have any gripes. The only thing I would have to talk about, and it's probably more of a problem with the sculpt than anything, but I was talking to someone in my comments about the Ultraman the other day. They were telling me how strange the legs on the Ultraman and the Owlman look. Kind of looks like they're either bow-legged or something. You know what he told me? He told me he basically he heated up this part right here, took apart the leg to, he softened up the plastic, took apart the leg, and then took these kneecap joints right here and turned them around. And he said he put them back on, the figure hardened, and he said it looked way better, so I'm just curious to see how that looks compared to this, because when you stand him up straight, it looks like he's got a pretty good gap that goes down into it. I don't know, it just looks a little strange, but I mean, that's just my opinion, though. I mean, I still think it's a really kick-ass figure, but as far as the articulation goes, his head goes down and up, left, right. Like I said, we got this soft plastic on the back of the head right here, which allows it to move a little bit better. We got the cape right here, which is extremely flexible, really nicely sculpted. This is just a killer cape. It looks really awesome. And that's continued on the other side. So this is very flexible, and you can get him in any pose you would like. He's got a piece of articulation at the waist. Of course, he's got the articulation at the torso, and it seems like I don't have any problems with this figure scuffing as far as moving his torso articulation, because sometimes it likes to scuff underneath there or at the abs or anything. I don't know how they get past that, but they did a really good job of protecting the figure. So it's either probably multiple coats of paint or something like that. I'm not really too sure, but we go into the arms. Of course, we all know this articulation, piece of articulation right there, piece of articulation right there. One joint at the elbow. We go down into the hand. 360-degree rotation. It goes front and back. Is it just me, or should his hands be longer, his arms be longer? What do you guys think? What's your favorite figure in this line? I've reviewed most of them minus the Deathstorm, so I want to know what your guys' opinion is. Which one did you guys like the most? I would have to say that this is probably my favorite, purely based on the character, and I don't know, he's just got a really kick-ass head sculpt. He's a really badass character, and they just did a killer job on this figure. But I think his arms are a little short. Maybe that's, I don't know. Maybe I'm just seeing something strange. I'm not sure. We go into the legs, and like we've all been talking about, these DC Collectibles figures have been doing a great job as far as these leg joints go. Got this little bump right here that's sculpted on. Adds a little bit more to the sculpt, which looks cool. But this has got a piece of articulation right here. It goes front, side, double jointed knees. I know some people have been saying that maybe they should have gone to single jointed knees to avoid this problem right here, but I don't know. I would always say for a knee joint you should do double jointed, because you can just get them in a lot more poses. Sometimes there's just limitations as far as the single joint on the leg goes, so I think it's important that we get that. Tread on the bottom of the foot, some information on the bottom of the foot. We go down into the leg, and there's a piece of articulation right here which goes front and back. 360-degree pivot right there. I mean, pivot is everything. If a figure doesn't have a pivot on it nowadays, there's something wrong. Unless, I don't know, it's just strange. You gotta have pivots on your figure, so I'm glad DC Collectibles jumped on the train and finally started putting pivots in these figures. So overall, I think this is a really kick-ass figure. I mean, if you were to get any of them from the Crime Syndicate, I would suggest getting this one just because of how badass he looks and how cool he's sculpted. The paint's not bad whatsoever, and I mean, these figures are super articulated, so just remember to handle these figures with care. But I mean, this guy's just super badass. I liked everything about him. I love this cape. This cape is super cool. But yeah, this is Century Productions. I will catch you guys later. Let me know in the comments which one of the 5 Crime Syndicate figures I reviewed, which one you guys like the most. Let me know down below. And we'll be getting into some more reviews later this week, and it's going to be awesome. Alright guys, Century Productions here. Peace!